my life matters.
We always talk about white people killing black people, but we don't talk enough about black on black crime. We kill each other.
My life matters.
Kansas City is different.
Stuff can happen at a moment.
My life matters.
Say if somebody made me mad, I do the first thing that comes to my mind.
My life matters.
We just go and just retaliate now or just get revenge on anything.
My life matters.
I mean, we've got about 170 homicides already in the city this year.
My life matters.
I saw on the news an 11-year-old girl was shot and killed, and that's all I saw.
thing I don't want to spend any time thinking about, presentation software.
What I love about FreeShow is in many ways its ease of use.
Hey, I'm Jared Ellis from Fellowship Regional Church in Iola, Kansas.
My name is Paul Hubert. I'm the lead pastor of Southside Christian Church in Fort Pierce, Florida.
In working with church apps, when FreeShow was brought onto the scene, it absolutely took over for us.
We're a church of roughly about 150 folks. I'm not super technologically advanced, but I'm able to put together displays that are visually engaging and look top notch really every Sunday. Because of the versatility of FreeShow and really the strength of the program.
With FreeShow, we've been able to grab somebody, and because it's so incredibly user-friendly, we can teach them so quickly how to operate the program.
We had an issue with FreeShow that I was struggling to figure out.
So we sent an email, and immediately somebody gets back to us.
And I was actually able to get in touch with the creator of FreeShow directly.
I just need it to work. And that wasn't happening with the presentation software we were using before. So for us, yeah, FreeShow's incredible.
Would we continue using FreeShow if budget wasn't an issue? And yeah, absolutely we would.
If money was no object and it came down to whether or not we were going to use FreeShow or maybe try to use a more expensive program, there's no way in the world than else.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. How's everybody doing today? Hope you guys are doing great. I'm excited to be here with you guys. Let me adjust my camera real quick. It is leaning a little bit to that side. All right, there we go. How's that? A little bit more centered, but that changes something for me. Let me see what this does. How you guys been doing today? I see we got tiny egg here. Yeah, I was setting it up. Now I got to reset it because I changed where my camera is. But we got Mark on, M. Smith in the house, 4241. Good morning. Good morning. We got Jim Lawyer in. Welcome, my friend from Dayton, Ohio. Let's see here. We got K. Vaspo, the legend is in the house. Welcome, welcome, K. Vaspo, Christopher. And Brian, Verbacious Brian from Michigan, my man, welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's see, we got anybody else? Oh, Houstonians. Hello, everyone. Houstonians, tell us where you're from. Tell me where you're from, my friend. Everybody else has been pretty regular, so I got a good idea. But whenever anybody new comes in, we got to know where you're from. I want to know. And ignore my hair. I'm having a bad hair day. I just washed my hair, so it's still kind of damp. But it was good. Okay, from Nigeria. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Welcome from Nigeria. Let's see here. We got Gurilin MJ8530 saying good morning. Let us know where you're coming from, Gurilin MJ. I've seen you before. I just don't remember. Tell us your name and where you're from. And then we got Larry Sweeting on. What's going on, my man, Larry? Let's see here. I am from Abuja, Nigeria. Wow, wow, wow. That is awesome. Awesome. Girl, I'm from New York. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, you guys, it's FreeShow Friday. We got to talk. We got to talk. Oh, my goodness. Were you going to be on today? My man from Atlanta, Tony Mobley. Now, listen, before we get started, me and Tony were on live on his channel, Conversations with Tony Mobley. We had a good time walking through a really cool setup that he has with his ministry, because one of the things that makes this unique while we do this, why I have Q&A with you guys, is because I know every ministry is unique. And his ministry, they meet completely on Zoom currently. And so we worked on a way to try to make FreeShow integrated, even when it can be intimidating. I shared with him how when I first saw FreeShow, it was overwhelmingly intimidating for me. And if you come from a program that's not ProPresenter, I think you can agree that it's just not as intuitive or simple. I was telling my wife about this. I was like, using FreeShow when I'm so used to using programs that are very limited, when I get into FreeShow, it's like, oh wow, this is not limited. I got to figure out how to set my own parameters and set my own this and do this and figure this out. But once you get that together, once you get your service in order and get your templates in place and all those kind of things, your overlays, your outputs and all those different things in place, FreeShow is the best program to use for any, I would say for a lot of different purposes. For any church, I would say for sure, but um, I've talked about videographers and using it for podcasting. I've talked about using it for live streams like I do with you guys all the time. So it's got a lot of use cases to it. And so we got to set up a cool, somewhat of a template with Tony. So I'm excited about that. Well, I don't know if y'all know it, but there's been some updates with FreeShow over the last couple of days and last couple of weeks since last week since we met. So we got the 157 update full release, which I'm super excited about. I had that running on my computer, I think from the day that it launched, a couple days back maybe, but we got to talk. So my camera's focusing in on my computer behind me, so it's got all that up. It's showing my screen. um, and so let's see here. Full sharing screen. Let me try something real quick. I got to see what screen I'm sharing. So when I do this, it's sharing the wrong screen. So let me do something real quick. I say full, it's not sharing the wrong screen. It's just sharing the screen I don't need right now. Tony, no doubt, no doubt. Let me see something here, you guys. I'm gonna be sharing a different screen with you guys today. I've revamped my studio space. It was crazy over here, you guys. It was crazy trying to navigate two different setups. So I've got that streamlined, I think. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, so let's see here. Turn on studio mode. All right, what we gotta do, because I said I was using 157, but in the matter of moments since I've used FreeShow, since I guess yesterday, there has been a new update, 158.1. But we're going to talk about 157 because all that stuff carries over with just some updates, right? So what I want to do with you guys is let's jump in before we get into any other stuff. We got to talk about this because the 157 update is super cool in a lot of different ways. And so we're going to talk about that together. All right. So you all should be able to see my screen. Let me undo this and let me fix my circle camera. Hold on. Remember, I shifted my camera over. So now I got to shift over my head there. There we go. All right. So here we go. 157 is out. It is full. It is available. It includes timelines and time code. Unbelievable. I don't have a clue how to use them too well yet. I've been playing around with the timeline piece. We did a walkthrough on in the lab last time we met on the timeline. The time code piece, I don't use it, but if you're coming from ProPresenter, the time code thing may be really important for you. If you're not, it may not be important at all because it's really dependent upon the hardware that you use for your setup. And for me, growing up in smaller churches, we didn't use any hardware that used or required time code. All right. Overlay actions. Christopher, I'm gonna need your help on that one. I could not figure out where to find that one at, but I'm curious about that. And then ability to lock slide groups. I think I saw that one. And then the project media item thumbnail. Now that one is super cool. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So let's just briefly just review what those would look like. So the first one here is the timeline. If you go to any show now, you'll have this option. If you hit the little option across from the new layouts down below here, you'll see this option here to expand out, and you'll see this option that says toggle timeline. And what it does is it brings up the timeline. Now, the cool thing about this is it's designed, as far as I know, look, this is where Christopher can help us out. Oh, okay. So what the timeline does is it allows you to record your shows in to me, a much more user-friendly way than it was before. So it's a major improvement to record your shows in this way, and then just hit play, and it'll automatically play that timeline recording. Right now, this is really helpful because you can add in actions, and let's see here. You can also add in slides and audio. All right, so you can put in a track, right, an audio track down at the bottom by simply dragging it in, right, from your audio if you got one. So I can drag in. I don't have a lot of cool audio, but let's see here. I got my beats here, so I can drag this in, and it'll go in the audio and it jumps right up to the top. And then I can go through slides. Now I'm gonna have to take this out because this is my intro, but I can go through the slides and I can hit record, and then I can just start clicking on slides and they'll be tracked with the actual song. This is really important for like lyric videos and stuff like that. So I can click on that and I can delete it just as easily as well. All right. Now the interesting thing is it deleted it out of here. That's interesting. I probably should have did something different. Let me see. Can I undo that? Nope. I don't know what happened with that. It just got lost. But so that's one place where you can find the timelines. And this one makes a lot of sense because it's about recordings. Now the other place, I'm not going to say I'm so keen on yet. So Christopher, I'm gonna ask for your insight on this one as well. So I'm gonna go to let's see here. This is 210. We'll go here. And so I'll put in a show. And I'm gonna do a song. Who else? Okay. So I got this song in. The other part that you can add a timeline is to the entire project. So I hit this. Now I got this second timeline down below. So I'm gonna make this one up for the show go away. You can have a whole timeline for an entire project or an entire service in here. Now it does not record, but you can drag in entire shows instead of just slides. You can put in actions as well. And let me see, if I make this tall, you can also bring in your own audio and you can see everything, your entire show lined up. And that is kind of crazy. It just changes the way that you use and see the program. And so you can put in transitions between shows in this setup. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's cool. So that's something that I like. All right. So Christopher says for the overlay or the action overlays or overlay actions, I should say. He said, if you go to any overlay, you can right click on it. So I'm gonna go to, I think I got some that are not defaults, but maybe I don't. I think I deleted them all. No, here's, okay. Prayer person. I can right click on this and now I have an option to say actions. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, so you can literally tie actions, the whole list of actions, to an actual overlay as opposed to going to your actions and making the overlay a part of the action. Does that make sense? So typically what will happen is if you wanted to have an overlay pop up, you would go to the functions, you would go to actions, and then you would make a new action. And that new action you would start with adding an overlay. Okay, so you would start an overlay. And if you wanted something else to happen, you would stack all those together on that particular on that same action, with the overlay being one of the actions. What we can do now is avoid that step and just go straight to our overlay and right click on it and add our actions. When we trigger that overlay, it automatically triggers those other actions that we tie to it, which is really cool. I love that. I love that. Let's see here. We got Tony, good day from Unwana, Nigeria. Unwanable, what's going on, my friend? Let's see here. Right click overlay to add the action. T Hooper in the house. Greeting from Jersey Shore. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're going through some of the updates that we got so far with FreeShow 157. It is here. Okay, now this ability to lock slide groups. This one's really cool as well. So for this particular song, let me turn off this timeline here. All right. So for this particular song, I got chorus and all these different groups, right? So, and Christopher, correct me if I'm wrong. I can right click over here and I can lock it for editing. So chorus 2, I can lock it so that it can't be edited, I guess. I don't know. It's locked though, right? Oh, and it tells you down there that that particular piece is locked. So I couldn't move it if I wanted to. So you can make it to where basically I would say it's more of a safety mechanism for your volunteers, which is really cool, to where they wouldn't accidentally mess something up. You can lock off certain parts of the groups, right? In this case, I'm looking at it as a song, but it could be for my FreeShow Friday show, it could be a certain part. So I can go here and you can see I've got all of my groups are just the titles of the image or the video that's tied to it. I can lock those off as well. I wonder if I could select all of this. And I can right click and I can say lock for editing. Boom. So the entire show is now locked. So I can't manipulate or mess this up if I wanted to move something around. It just doesn't move. Now it does show up, right? Which is cool. I'm gonna say clear all, but it doesn't let me move it. Okay. Because I literally locked all those. Oh, let me stop it again. I keep clicking on it. All right. But so that's kind of the idea behind it, as far as I understand. How would you guys use the lock groups, right? Like I said, for me, I'm going to keep mine locked. I love that. Unless I'm going to make some changes, I'll come in now and I'll just right click on it and I can unlock it, right? But it's locked for editing, so I can't necessarily edit it. Tayel in the house. Welcome, my friend. Tayel, remind me where you from again. Remind me where you're from. I know it's on the east. From the east, I believe. Tell me. Welcome to the show. So group locking was really sweet. Larry Sweeting, are you able to add a timer duration to the overlay before it clears or before it goes away as well? So are you able to add a timer duration to the overlay? Oh, tell you, Mobile, Alabama. Man, I'm thinking about over in Indonesia or something. I'm sorry, my friend. Mobile, Alabama. So you in the South. All right. So Larry had a question here saying, are you able to add a timer duration to the overlay before it clears? So for your overlays, you can right click on any overlay you want to. So I got this Gary B. Jr. logo. I can right click on that and you can do a display duration. I think this is what you're talking about. So I can say, hey, I want to only be up for five seconds, right? So now when I click it, boom, it shows up there. And this is what the audience will see. They'll see that little blurred out logo, and then it just goes away. And so, yes, you can add a timer duration, overlay duration to the overlay. You said before it clears. I'm just looking at okay, before it clears, it goes away as well. Yes, I believe that should not be a problem at all. And let me know if that answers your question, Larry. Let's see here. Tony Mobile says, what is the proper way to update FreeShow? Not sure I did it correctly for 157. Oh, that's a great point. So let's talk about how to update FreeShow. If I were to go back here and I'm going to go to I'm going to add a new tab and I'm going to go to the FreeShow website. All right. So when you go to FreeShow, I don't know. There's probably another way to update. So you guys can tell me how you do it, but I always just go to the website and then I click on this option that says downloads. Now you'll see here it says download for Mac OS because it defaults to whatever you already have. I don't know why. I'm kind of a download snob. I like to go and see it and see all the releases because I'm always looking for the betas. But if you go here, you can just hit your particular version that you need. But on the first page, it literally will allow you to do it. So download for Mac OS, you click that, and then it automatically downloads the version that you need for your particular software or system that you have. So if you have a M-chip Mac, you're going to get the ARM download, right? You'll see there ARM 64. If you have an Intel Mac, you'll get like, I think it's the X64 download by default. And then it gives you an option here to make a donation. If you find it useful, please consider donating to support the use of its development. So this one's really cool because on that page, it does that. And then it takes you to a thank you page where it gives you some tutorial documentations and a YouTube video. And then it says you can give back here, which is great. I like to go to the downloads because this is where you'll see the beta versions, right? So I can hit see all releases. And when you go to see all releases, now you're kind of in a whole different world. Okay. This different world is in GitHub, which is where I believe where the downloads are stored. And so if you scroll down, it'll give you a breakdown of what the updates include. And so you'll see here, this one shows the tweaks that happened with the 158 beta. But if you scroll down, you'll literally see the entire history of all the versions of FreeShow. So I can go down. So 2 days ago was 157 when it came out. And you'll see here, it gives you the new features, which is what we were looking at, the ability to lock slide groups. And then this project media item thumbnail. Just a real quick note. This is a video right here. You'll see that little thumbnail right there, which is crazy cool. All right. If I go back to what me and Tony did together on his particular one, we had some items here from songs from YouTube, and it pulled in the thumbnail in the project view panel. Okay. Really, really sweet stuff. So it really just makes it a more streamlined experience. Whereas in the past, it just said the name or the title of that video, but it didn't show you what was to kind of a preview of a thumbnail of it, right? Which is really cool. All right. So this is where I would go, and I would go down after you find the one you want. So this is 157. Then you scroll down in the assets area, and so it's going to probably be truncated. I just hit this little area to expand it. This is probably the worst way to download the free show, but this is how I do it, and I just look for the one that I want. And so I don't use an RPM. I don't even know what that is, so I leave it alone. I don't know what a DEB file is. I don't use it. Apple Image, don't use that. Deb, don't use it. But DMG, I know what that is. If you ever use Apple, you know you've downloaded a program and it's a DMG file. And so I look for ARM and I download that DMG file, the ARM64 version. If I had an Intel one, you would see the X64. That's going to be the DMG for the Intel. Okay. You can see all the other assets like for Windows and stuff like that, but this is showing the ones that are, I guess these are all related to Apple because I'm on an Apple computer. But if I say show all, you'll see now. Let's see here, some executable files. If you have Windows, you would default probably at the top to seeing the executables instead of the DMG files, right? So depending on the type of computer, it's a really intuitive setup. And you guys that are using Windows, let me know, is that right? Does it show the Windows assets at the top for you? Let's see here. All right, so Larry, yes, it does. Okay, perfect. All right, let's look here. Gwerlin J8530, can the overlay be animated on entry or exit? That's a great question. Can an overlay be animated on entry or exit? Beautiful idea. I love the way you guys are thinking today. This is good. Keep them coming. Now, here's the deal. For me today, I got to get off a little bit early. I've got some meetings going on this afternoon. And so I'll be heading off probably within an hour. So I got 30 minutes before I got to wrap up. So keep the questions coming. Can an overlay be animated on entry or exit? Yes, it absolutely can. All right. So I got this guest speaker overlay, but we'll do a new overlay, right? I'm gonna call this one, we'll call it Free Show Friday, Gary B. Oh, Gary G is what that says, Gary B. All right. And so in this one, I'm going to start out with this blank space, right? And I want to put a text box that I want it to kind of slide in and I want it to slide out. When you make your overlays, you literally animate each item separately. That's how I recommend that you do it. At least there may be another way to do it. When I think about it, I don't know that you can animate it outside of that. So I would do a text box. Okay. Now I don't want it to be super large. I want it to be like that. And I want it to come from the edge like that. Okay. Now to animate, let's see, I'll put it to the edge right there. To animate, you just simply right click on it and you can do this transition option, right? That's what when I think about animation, there's another option on the slides that you can do with animation that does some things like make it grow and all that stuff. But when you talk about in and out, that's a transition. Okay. So I select this transition option and now I got this option here to show how I want it to do it. I want this to slide in. All right. So I'm going to select slide. And I want it to slide from the left to the right. And so that's default already there. Sometimes you might want it to come from the bottom to the top. You just hit that drop down and scroll down. You'll see bottom to top or top to bottom, depending on where you want this at, right? And I want this to take a whole second. So 1 whole second. And then I want it to flow. Actually, I want it to, there's this jump option. I like the jump one too. All right. So I'm gonna make it jump in. And then to go out, it'll do the same thing. It'll slide out by default. In between, there's nothing going on. I guess I could make it fade. I don't necessarily need that. I don't want that. I'm not going to do anything in between. If I hit that little option there, you'll see the options there. And then it says fade in, offset, and all that kind of stuff. Let's see if I do that. There's a fade in, offset there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have anything going on here. So I got the slide. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to go to close. That's done, but it is nothing in this box yet. So I'm going to go to this item. The item option. So text box is where you type in all your text, and not type it in, but where you edit all the text. The item itself is actually the whole frame that it's in. Okay. And so this is where you can make the radius of it to be a little bit rounded, right? And you notice now it almost looks like it's got a little peel shaped corner or edges to it, right? So it's kind of rounded on the ends. And then I'm going to change the color of it. All right. And I'm going to make it be a gradient. And you can make your own gradients. I'm just going to pick one that's already there. And I think I always pick this one. So let me see if I'll pick something different. I like those blues. There's a lot of different gradients in here. Let's see. There's that one. That one's pretty cool too. So we'll do that one. All right. So I got that popping out that way. I don't want this edge to show that curve though, so I'm gonna pull it over to be something like that. And then I want to put in another item. So I'm gonna go to my items, hit text box, and I'm gonna put in another item here, and this is gonna be my name. All right. And so this box here has nothing in it. So it's just type something. I'm not gonna type anything in there. But this one, I do want to type something. So I'm gonna make this one say, welcome to FreeShow Friday. All right. And I'll make it be about that wide. And I'm gonna make it be a lot smaller because I don't want it to be super big. Let's do 60. Perfect. And I'll make it a little bit bigger. Let's do 7. Let's see what 75 looks like. Nope. I don't want it to stack, but I don't want it to be longer. All right. So we got that. It's got a cool little shadow on it, which I like. Like I said, don't be confused or frustrated because that behind the scenes there is going on. Pay attention to what you got going on here. And now this one, though, it doesn't have any animations to it yet. So I can select that. I'm going to right click on it, hit transition, and I'm going to make this one just fade in. And I'm going to make it fade in after the other one. So it'll fade in. It'll take a little bit longer to fade in. And I'm going to have it float in the fade. And then I'll make it fade out as well. I'll make it fade out quicker. So I'll make it fade out like that. All right. So now I got my overlay. I'm going to go to my show. And where did I name that? Okay, here we go. FreeShow Friday is what it looks like down there. I can right click on that. Let's do display duration. And we'll do 5 seconds. Let's see what we get. All right. And so now when I click it, paying attention up here, all right? Actually, I'll do it this way. I'll make it go to the primary so you guys can see that. All right. So I'm gonna just click on the overlay. It did that. And in 5 seconds, it should do something different. It just went away. It didn't do exactly what I expected, but it should do the the transition that I was hoping it would do. And I didn't see it happen. I didn't see it happen like I expected, but you can add those transitions to it in that way. Let me see. And here, edit option. And somebody else, let me know if you guys have another way that you do your transition for your overlays. But that would be the way. And I'm wondering if I just made it too quick. Let me do an edit real quick. I right clicked on it to edit it. Let me do this again. Let's see. I'm gonna right click on this and let's make this a little bit more dramatic. So I'm gonna go to transitions. It's supposed to slide in. Okay. Let's do 2 second slide in. And we'll close that. And we'll go to the show. And I'm gonna take off the duration. Let's turn that off. All right. And when I select it this time, let's see what it does. And when I click it again, it just kind of goes away. Now it should do something different for what I know. And Christophe or anybody else on the line, let me know. Oh, so let's see here. Oh, it's in alphabetical order on GitHub. All right, makes sense. Perfect. All right. Let's see here. Mac apps came dragged to the folder, and then old version stayed. When ended, delegated old version, then install 157. Okay, so when I do my Mac download of the new version, I close out FreeShow. I install it by dragging it over into the app folder, right? And then it'll ask me, do I want to replace it? And I just say replace. That's typically what I do. So you might have said keep both when it says it keep the old version stayed. So I just say replace, and then if you notice at the base of my screen here, you see I've got FreeShow as just oh, you guys can't see that. At the base of my screen, I've got FreeShow as a in my dock down below. So it automatically just updates here because I say replace. So this shortcut down at the bottom is always going to be the latest version because I always just replace it with the latest version. Okay. Let's see here. I have 157 working. Ignore the previous question. Okay, no worries, Tony. Herbaceous Brian. He says he's not trying to take me out of my job, but I don't mind it. I love training GPT. So the content that we create, anything that we do in terms of using what is it? I guess AI. The idea for me with AI is that you want to make sure that it's going to work the way you need it to work. And so the best way to make it work the way you need it to is you train it. And so this is with anything, right? You train your body to work out and run marathons or whatever it is. I've never ran a marathon. I'm not going to say that. I used to ride a bike. So I rode a bike a lot. So you train your body, you do it repetitively, and it trains it to do and perform the way you want. It's the same way with AI. And so all the videos that I made last year, for example, with for Free Show on my YouTube channel, hopefully does justice to help train AI models to help answer those questions that you might have about Free Show, and then other things that you'll find online that are going to be anywhere. But Brian says, not really a question, but a tip. When I have a question or a problem, I put it into ChatGPT, and it usually is helpful answering it. Not trying to knock you out of your job. Laugh out loud. Now, here's what I will say. In Free Show, there's some other things that you can do. If you got questions about Free Show, we've talked about this. There's a video out about it. But if you do Command G, and I'm going to just say the G stands for Gary in this situation, but it really doesn't. That's just my take on it. If you do Command G, it gives you the quick search. So if you want to do a search, let's see, for transitions, right? And I just type in transition, and it automatically pops up and it says, hey, you can do, I got overlay called action sign transition, I guess is an overlay that I've got. Action sign. I don't know what that is. I want to know, but I'm thinking it's overlay. And then we got other actions here, advanced transition titles, anything that has the word transition in it. And then general transition, it'll take you to the general space where that is. And then styles, they have a transition setting as well. And then we also have FAQs. There's a video, a YouTube video that has fixing glitchy slide transitions. And then audio transition, this is something in my audio options, right? So you can do a search with Command G, or on Windows, what is it? What is it? Control G, right? Control and Command kind of go together. All right. So you can do a quick search in Free Show for things that are not, you're not looking for a Bible verse or something like that. So if I did, let me see, if I did Luke, it'll just do a search for the shows I've already created. Let's see. And then it says scripture. So yeah, you can do it that way. And it'll take you to the book of Luke, chapter 1. However, if you want to do a thorough search of the scriptures, so if you want to look for Luke, you just type in LU and it automatically puts that in. And you might say Luke 12, and I just hit space 4, and you'll see here, it shows you that verse and it takes you right to it. And if you hit enter, it automatically pops it up. Okay. And so that's something that's really cool. And you guys couldn't see that because my head was in the way. Let me see. So basically, I went over to this far right side, and you'll see this option for search. And I just typed in LU, and it automatically put in the word, the name Luke, and I'll do 13 space 2. I don't know what that verse is, but it shows up there in the Bible verse. And then if you hit enter, it automatically updates, and you'll see that particular version with that verse. That's a really quick search option. But Command G is designed to really help you navigate any questions you might have in Free Show. It's kind of like the help all built into the program. So if you say, hey, I want to help with my outputs, right? So you can type in output, and you'll see here actions. I got an output lock action. You also have general, where you can add a new output directly from here. Like, that's crazy. And then also takes you to the outputs menu. And then the general high cursor in output, that's a setting there. And then also the output show. These all terms that have the word output in it. And I did that by hitting Command G on the Apple or Control G on a Windows. And then you also get these FAQ, which are videos. So there's a using MIDI outputs, there's a multiple outputs here, and then virtual outputs. This is a video, this is a document on the website, and then this is another video on YouTube. All right. And then you can see here, I got different shows that have the word output in it as well. All right. Very cool feature. Very, very cool feature. All right, let's see here. I think we got all those questions answered. Now, we were in Free Show 157. All right. Talked about all these new features, really cool stuff. Now down here, project list tweaks, enhanced quick search. Very cool. I like the way quick search looks. Faster slide loading. Very cool. Action to mark a project item as played. That's pretty sweet. I don't know how I would use it, but somebody requested it and they needed it. So if you go to your functions and you go to actions and you select this new action option, I'm not going to make one, but I'm going to go down to this choose action. You'll see that there is a whole list of actions here. And these are the most general actions. But if you want to get pretty modular or granular, I should say, and get pretty detailed, you can do this eyeball here that just says more options. And you will see under project now, there's this option that says mark as played. And when I select that, it gives you to toggle the value on or off. And it's there, and it automatically, I'm guessing it'll just apply to whatever item you have in your project that you're on. You can mark it as played, which is kind of cool. Very, very cool. All right. If I go back here, save imported project directly back to the file. Now that one I don't understand, but it seems pretty cool where you can, so you can import your projects and then you can save them back directly to the file. I've never had to do that, but somebody did. All right. And then set initial project name to an upcoming week, day, or date. Now this one blew my mind, I must admit. Set your initial project name. So many of you all know this when you do a new project. So I'm going to go into my Tony Mobley folder here. And when I say new project, it defaults to today's date, right? We saw that on Conversations with Tony Mobley. We've seen that on all of my free show videos that you've seen me do. I just keep it to where it just shows the date, 02/13/26. Today is Friday the 13th, 2026. All right. And it's February. And that's what we got here. But we got new options. So I'm going to clear that out, and I don't want to go anywhere on there. So I'm going to right click and delete that. Now, if I go to my settings and I go to general, in the very first option in your settings, you got this project option that says default project name. And it shows you a drop down here. So you can say next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. So you can put in there next Sunday, which in this case is the squiggly lines with a D7. So I'm just going to put in there, I'm going to say, what would be a cool project name that I could put that with or make that do? I'll just make it be D7. So I'm going to put in the squiggly line, D, and the number 7. Close it out. And I'm going to take this out. And I'll do this. I'll say from. All right. So now in here, I got a bunch of different stuff. I got this coming Sunday, and I got it from this particular date of the week, this today. All right. Now let's see what we do. Let's see what we get. I'm going to go back to my show. I'm in my Tony Mobley folder. I'm going to hit new project. And now look at that. 15 from. All right. So now what it does is it's showing you the 15th. So what I can do is I can make that be a month, day, year by dragging it in. So it's not going to change. It's not going to give you the full month, day, year. So let me go back and in and out of that. Let me go back out of that. So I can delete that. And let's go back and make that work better. So I can make this be inside of, so I can cut this out. Or I just type it where it says month, day. I can just make this be day. And I just make it say D7. And so now you can just have that. I don't even have to put the from, because I was thinking it was going to put the whole month, day, year. But I can say month is the same. D7 is the 7th day. And then year here. All right. So now when I go in and I say new project, it automatically defaults to 2/15. Right. As long as I'm not on Sunday, it should go to the next Sunday, I'm guessing. If I'm on Sunday, I'm guessing it'll put that in there for that day, but maybe not. You have to test it out. So if you're making your shows maybe on Thursday, you can literally plan it to where it defaults to where you're making them for Sunday, but you're making it on Thursday. It'll automatically default to that Sunday date. Okay. Let's see here. Gwirlin MJ8530 says, I wanted to know, are the variables that we create in FreeShow available in Companion? You probably don't have to demonstrate that. So are the variables that we create in FreeShow available in Companion? So I do need to demonstrate it just to prove it to myself, just because that's a great question. When you say variables, I know they are because I say I know they are. I use variables, but I think I make them into an action. And so if I say here, I'm gonna go to my Companion. and I go to my buttons. So this one, for example, is a button, but I've got it set up to where it's FreeShow clear overlays, and then I got it as a toggle overlay, and then I also have an action. And so inside of the action, FreeShow Friday title and date, I believe I have the variable tied to that. So if I go to my actions here, and let's see here, I think I got FreeShow Friday. Here we go. Okay, let me look here. Okay, FreeShow Friday title and date. Let's right click on that and let's do edit. And you'll see here it's just start an overlay. Okay, so I've got it, the actual variable is inside of my overlay that I've got here, and it's called Gary B. Jr. lower third title. So now if I go to my overlays, and I got FreeShow Friday topics, lower third, there it is there. All right, so you'll see here that this particular overlay, if I right click on it and I go to edit, it's all variables. Okay, so if I hit I don't even know if I have that over, I don't have that overlay on, but you see here, this the title here is the title that I've made in my variables, and then the time and the month, those are dynamic variables. Time date with a slash and then another slash time year, those are just dynamic values that are variables as well. Okay, but this is a variable called title. Okay, so if I go to my functions, you'll see here that my variable section, I got FreeShow Friday topics, and I just got one called title, and it just says FreeShow Friday. And so that's all tied to companion, but it's wrapped up inside of overlays, inside of actions, and then in companion, I actually pointed to the clear overlays, like just as it's a default function in there, like a default part of the package, I guess you could say. And then toggle overlay, that's a default one. And then run action. Those are all a part of companion. So I actually have my variable tied into an action in that way, if that makes sense. So let me know if that answers your question, Gwerlin MJ. All right. And Brian, Vivacious Brian says, when using YouTube videos, how do we respect the originator? As Christians, we do not want to be using them without their permission, not including public domain. That's a great question. I think for me, I look at it as if they did allow embedding, that's something that is, that's the way that YouTube, or not YouTube, that's the way FreeShow is bringing it in. It's only bringing it in with their permission to embed. And so you can honor them in a number of different ways. You can put an overlay over that video to say who the originator is in FreeShow on your own if you want to. But like I said, that creator made it to where their videos were embeddable. So for me, for example, all of my videos, you can embed those into your FreeShow. It doesn't, I'm going to say it doesn't take away. I think the biggest challenge with it is that if you are live streaming that on your live stream, their video, then you are getting the views and the clicks for that particular video, but they do get a view out of that as an embed. I think that's the challenge. So if you're trying to live stream it, I would steer clear of that. You know, like streaming other people's YouTube videos is kind of weird. So you want to be mindful of that. And if you do that, you might need to put a note in your description that these are the videos you used from these particular people, would be a way to consider it. But if it's in-house, that particular person does get, it tracks it as an embedded, you know, it plays as a play or whatever it is in YouTube. So there is accomplishing what they're allowing in terms of it being embedded. But that's a great question, Brian. What are you guys' thoughts about that in terms of what he's posing here? Is like, how do we use YouTube in our projects, but still honor the creators of the videos that we're using? How do we do that would be a question to consider. All right. Now, shifting gears back to what we talked about. So we got some questions. We got some great questions going on, you guys. So Gwerlin MJ, let me know if that answers your question. Long answer is yes, you can include variables in companion. And if I go down here, let me see something real quick. Do I got any blank? What is an action? That's something. Let's do in the lab overlay, in the lab screen. These are kind of, I don't use those anymore. So I'm gonna go to this option to add an action. So if I go to FreeShow, I'm gonna just do a search for variable. I think there might be a thing for it. Let's see here. In FreeShow, you can do a change variable. You can do a custom variable only used internally in this module. The set value can be referenced in any value field using the money sign name format. Now, so yes, you can create them. I don't do that personally, only because I'm not confident in doing it. I don't understand coding in that way. So you only used internally in this module. So you give it the variable name and then the variable value. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I just did everything in FreeShow and then I made that into an action because I can control it a little bit easier and it made sense for me in that way. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. But there is an option in here that's a part of the API or whatever the package is for FreeShow where you can do those variables. Now, the cool thing is if I go back in here, there was this other one called variable change variable. So if I go here to close, it'll ask you for the variable name and then it'll ask you to the action that you want to do. So these are really helpful if you have like number variables. You can do an increment or a decrement in that for that variable, and so you just put in the name of the variable here and the value that you want it to increase or decrease by, and then it says you can keep it empty if you just want it to go on and off. Okay, so that's something that's built into Companion as well, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go into where we left off here in the update. So set initial project name to an upcoming weekday date. We did that one. And then stage show conditions referencing dynamic values should work now. Okay. Stage show conditions referencing dynamic values should work. Interesting. So I'm going to go back out and we'll go to stage and let's do here. I'm going to go to, we already got a condition on that one. Now, okay, so this is an example of a condition that references a dynamic value. This is going to a variable actually, but you can make text boxes in here and then add a condition to it to show. And so my condition for this, if I go to the conditions, is show the variable. And this is the item, right? Because that's what I typed up there. Show variable, show item if the variable website is not blank. Okay, so if I actually have some website info, then show that particular red text box in there. Okay. And so if I go to my show, well, I'm gonna go to my outputs. I don't even have a stage output set up. And I go to outputs, let's go to stage, and I'm gonna pick that one that has that. I think it's this one. I can't remember. All right. And so we'll do that. And I'm just gonna do it as an NDI invisible window. That's cool. So you'll see it there. And let me go back to stage just to make sure that was Darren's. Yeah, so this is Darren's layout that I got selected. So I go back to my variables and I look for website, which I don't know where it would be. I'm guessing these are in alphabetical order. There we go. So right now it's off. So if I turn it on, you'll see that pops up in my stuff there. But when I deactivate it by simply doing that, it makes that whole box, that red box, go away. And so this is working, and I'm in 1.5.8 beta 1. All right. So it must not have been working too well in 1.5. Well, no, it must not have been working well in 1.5.6. So it was working in 1.5. The update was for 1.5.7 that we were looking at. And so that works now as it was before. And so that it just put a fix in. These are just tweaks. So these are things that needed to be corrected. And then change text transition, fade in, offset, updated languages and more tweaks. And then here's some bug fixes as well. I'm trying to think about fixed host name already in use issue on Mac OS. That one's pretty cool. Let's see here. Fixed drawer thumbnail paths on Mac OS. That's good. Fixed issue with thumbnail generation, incorrect slide media thumbnail, missing media replaced incorrectly, and then some cloud sync issue fixes. And so now if I go back up all the way to the top, the 1.5.8 beta is the latest one that's available. It just came out an hour ago. All right. And so I literally downloaded it almost an hour ago. So I don't know when I must have saw it as soon as it came out. But it says the thing was drop media from the web directly into a project or slide. What? Okay, drop media directly from the web. All right, let me make this minimized. Let me minimize this. We're going to put this to the test. I've never tried this before, so let's see here. I'm going to, let's do FreeShow Friday. This is from 12/8. All right, so I'm going to drag something into this show. I'm going to try to at least. Let's see. My nose is itching. All right. So let's see if we can get the GitHub logo. So I see this little guy here. Can I drag it in? Nope. It didn't drag that. I don't know if that'll work. That's not probably the best example. Media. All right, let's see here. Let's do a search for Free Show. No, not FreeShow.app, just Free Show. Let me clear this out. Hold on. This is how good I am. I'll do it down here. So Free Show. All right, so we'll do images. Here's some images here. All right. I like this one, so I'm gonna drag this in from the internet. Let's see if I can drag it in. It's not going into a slide. Let me see if I can drag it into the project. It stops like you can, but it's not letting me do it. If Christopher's on, let me know if I'm doing that right. I may not be doing it right. So if I select it here, I wonder if I got to do it like this. Nope. I still don't see it in there as a part of the show. But yeah, so it says there's a way to do it. I just don't know what it is. That's why I say I've never done it before. All right, drop media from the web directly into a project or slide. Set metadata display per show category, and then set different metadata templates on first and last slide. So set different metadata templates. Set different metadata templates on the first and last slide. That is really cool. All right. I don't know how to do that. Let's see. Set different metadata templates. So if I go here, whoa, look at that. When you hover over these, it gives you this little yellow arrow pointing up. That's crazy. What is that about? If I click it, I think it just is telling you, hey, it'll put it onto the show maybe. That's kind of cool. All right. I lost track. Sorry, you guys. If I go here, let me go back to that. All right. Set different metadata templates on the first and last slide. I wouldn't even know how to do that. Set a different template on the first and last slide. Yep. Don't have a clue how to do that one. All right. Let's see here. Jim Lawyer says, where is best place to find hymnals that can be imported into FreeShow? Looking for He Is Our Song hymnal. Ooh, that's a great question. Anybody got any thoughts or questions or thoughts about how to do that? To find hymnals. My first thought is to go to shows. And so I've never really looked for hymnals. Let's see here. He Is Our Song. I'm going to say hymnal. Did I spell that right? Let me see. Okay. And I do a web search. Nope. Doesn't show up. Okay. So let's go back out. Let's see here. Web search here. Yeah, same thing. So they're not in there. Okay. Right click on the show category to set the metadata display. Okay. So on a show category to set the metadata display. Okay. Let's see here. So let's go to, I'll right click on this one and I can set the metadata display. Oh, I love it. I love it. Did y'all see that? All right, so you can set this up to say no slides. It's going to show any metadata. The first slide is going to show some metadata. The last slide, the first and last, or on all slides. All right, so now the question is, I'm going to go to songs. That'll make more sense. So let's do metadata display, and I will say first and last, and then metadata template. Boom. So you make your template with the metadata, and it'll automatically ask you to do the I got it. All right, to customize the metadata content, edit the template, and use dynamic values. I like the tips. I don't know where that came from when that got here, but I like the little tips. And then here, this is just where you would pick a regular template. So for the first slide and the last slide, you can have a different setup. Really cool. So Tayel from Mobile, Alabama says, I do a general search on the web and copy to quick lyrics for the hymnals. Very cool. Very cool. That's what I was thinking about too. For me as Jim, if I were doing it, I would just do a search on the web and try to find it. Like I said, it's kind of hard because it'd be hard to kind of spot check, I guess, if you don't know the words yourself. But that's something to keep in mind, is just look for a reliable source, and see if other people have used it as well. In terms of those lyrics. Let's see, set different metadata templates. We talked about that. I love that. Player video URLs are now stored in the project. I love that. And then updated languages and tweaks. And then here's some bug fixes. Now, typically when Christopher does a beta that quick, there usually was a bug that needed to be fixed. So there were some profile fixes, some other small fixes. Fixed the song upload issue. Okay. Fixed window changing size each startup when DPI was not at 100%. Fixed scripture collection collection to show slide name issue. To show the slide name. Okay. Fixed default templates and overlays not properly deleted, and then fixed app not starting. That's kind of a big deal. And then fixed missing. I don't even know what a libltc on Linux is. All right. Okay, so the last thing is in the community, not a lot of action going on this past week, but I did make a post. I'm working on a syncing video tutorial. And the question is, what are some things you want to make sure that I cover? And my man or my friend here, JMesh7200, says, show how to add Google Drive account or Dropbox to sync the files. Now, the cool thing about the new sync feature, the media or it's just called Cloud Sync. The new Cloud Sync feature, it does have the option for you to make all of your data, your templates, your shows, your overlays, all the settings and all that kind of stuff, your config files, and all that stuff. It can get synced in the cloud for free through church apps, but your media is not going to be included in that cloud process. And so what JMesh7200 was asking is, can I make sure to walk through in the video how to set up a Google Drive on your desktop? For Windows or for Apple, you can set up Google Drive on your desktop. So if you guys have not commented, you got some thoughts on what to do, make sure to go to this post I made. This is a question post. Make sure to add it there, because I'm going to go through and I'm going to make a video based on that. I've already started recording and doing some testing and things like that. I've been talking with the team at Church Apps and asking them about clearing out my old stuff. So I'm literally going to start from scratch on that video on getting a whole church added to Church Apps and all that stuff on B1 Church, setting up the team from scratch, and then going into FreeShow. I'll probably end up, I don't know. I think I'll keep all my FreeShow content on, because you guys are going to have FreeShow content too. So I don't need to delete or restart my whole FreeShow, from scratch. But I do want to show you guys what it looked like from where you are. Okay. And then someone else, this was Mercy Barungi 4198, says, thank you, Gary, but how do I include the images in the software? And so they were asking about, they watched a video called 4 Ways to Change Your Background in FreeShow. And the answer for getting images into the software is to go to your media tab. And then in your media, you'll see option for online media. And you'll see images here under Pixabay and under Unsplash, which is really cool. But if you scroll down and you have images on your computer, you can just say add folder. This is my recommendation. I would hit add folder, and then it'll point you to the finder in your computer to say which folder do you want to add to FreeShow. And basically all you're doing is making it a smart folder. So you can keep adding content to that folder on your computer. Saving it to your computer is going to be very wise as far as I'm concerned. And then point FreeShow to where it is. And you can just drag that in from your folder. And as long as you keep your folder up to date on your computer, FreeShow will stay up to date with it as well. All right. So that's my best solution for it. Now, there's other ways. You can just drag items in, right? We talked about that. You can drag these items in, obviously, for sure. But from your computer, you can just drag up into it. Here is a slide. I like to always go back and find my files and where they are and all that kind of stuff, and organize them in that way. So I would recommend that same thing for anybody else. Someone here said, thanks for clarification on the find versus fast. The best ways to search scripture in FreeShow. I kind of did a demonstration of that earlier today as well. So you guys got to see that in real time. Let's see here. Someone said, so I did a motion graphics for logos video a while back, and someone said, nice, can I create these overlays externally and import them? So can I create these overlays externally? So the answer is you can make PNG images with transparent backgrounds for sure. So let's see. So I said, so you know of a way to make a video with, I should have said, do you know of a way to make a video with transparent backgrounds? I don't know how to make a video with transparent backgrounds that'll play into FreeShow, because I think it has to be like a 444 video, a codec or something like that. So video wise, I don't, but if you can get your stuff out as a GIF or as a PNG with a transparent background, you can bring it into FreeShow in that way. All right. And then this person had an issue with the controlling your show from their phone, right? So with FreeShow, you guys know you can go into your settings and you can go into the connections option here, and you can connect to control FreeShow to make it look like a remote control, which is what I was doing earlier. I've been making up writing scripts and stuff for my videos. I'm approaching my videos a little bit different this year. I've taken a break from YouTube for the whole month of January. I did not make a video unless it was live streamed, right? I didn't even watch YouTube in January. So that was something that was just a personal fun journey. But in this program, in FreeShow, you can control your show by getting a QR code. When I select this, it gives you a QR code that you can scan. And what it does, when you scan it on your phone, it gives you a little remote control when you select the control show option, and I can control my show. All right. And so this person was having a hard time. So if I go here and I use my, I'll make this big screen for you guys. When I use my phone, I can arrow through and you'll see that the verse is changing. It's going from one slide to the next, all from my phone. Okay. And I'm just hitting the buttons on my phone to do that. All right. This is a really cool feature. If it's not working on your computer and your phone, the remote show is going to take up a lot more RAM, I believe, on your browser and all that stuff and on your computer. And I've seen to where at times, if your computer does not have enough RAM or a proper amount or decent amount of RAM, it's going to take a load and it may straggle and have complications. If you have 8 gigs of RAM or less, you're going to likely see some challenges depending on what else you have open on your computer. I've got 16 gigs of RAM on my computers, and I'm not seeing that issue happen too much. So, and this is an Apple M1 chip, M1 Pro chip. So it could be the processor and all that stuff work together as well, I'm sure. So let's see if I'm missing anything. Let's see here. M. Smith says the new sync is super easy. I love that. I love that. And I think it's going to get even easier, believe it or not. I have not tested it out with the 157 yet, but I'm glad you like it. Mark, how are you using it? What are some your favorite ways to use it in terms of how many computers? I think you probably I asked you that before too, but let us know again. Let us know again. All right. Let's see here. Someone said your videos are excellent. Is it possible to set the main background to be the live camera feed instead of, this is Kenny Ariza 8625. They said instead of an image or a video, can we make it be a live camera feed? That way, when lyrics, verses, or any multimedia content are playing, pressing escape will only show the live camera feed. Okay, that's a great question. So to set the main background to be the live camera feed, that is an unbelievable question. I just said you can have a camera connected to your computer with a capture card or a switcher. You can have that feed be your background. Okay. Now, so, and I just said you just go to the media tab and select cameras and then select the camera. So if we go into FreeShow, you can have under the media tab, you have an option for I've got this one called curriculum. I've got online. You all will have online screens and cameras. If I go to cameras, you're going to see my USB camera that I'm using right now, which is here. And I can select that to be my background and it'll look like this. Okay. This is all in FreeShow. Now, what they were saying was if they were to hit escape. Now that part, I don't know. I don't know what escape does. So let me go here. I'm going to go to primary and I hit escape in FreeShow. I'm in FreeShow. when I hit escape, it just clears out everything, right? So we don't want that. We don't want to clear out everything. But what they were talking about was, can they do that? So if I select that again, what I would say you can do is you can just hit this little clear button here for your clear slides, and it'll go away. And now you will have just that video, okay, playing as your, oh, let me go back to here. So going back to what I had going on. So we had this, and so you can hit this little clear slide and make it do that. The other cool thing you could do is you can make it to where this is an action. So you can make an action that just is going to clear your slides, and it's just a button that you press. So maybe you press C for clear or something like that, or P or something like that, whatever you want to clear your slides out pretty quick, but keep your background there. Now it would be cool. Now, Christopher, tell me if this is possible. I don't know if it is or not. Is there a way to lock your background, or anybody else online on the team? Is there a way to lock your background in? You can activate it on startup, which is cool. You could edit it, but that just gives you the filters and stuff like that. But I don't think there's a way to lock. So I don't think I can right click on this and lock in that background, right? So that would be something that would kind of solve that, because the other ways you can get your backgrounds is going into your styles, but this is just background colors and then media. So these are actual images or videos. You can't put a camera feed in as that, okay? The other way to potentially do it is maybe as a template, but even then, when you clear everything out, the template's going to have layers that are going to be images that are background or videos and things like that. So it says you can the camera to an overlay and lock the overlay so it doesn't go away. Oh, let's see here. So you can lock to the output. Oh, okay. So let me go to making an overlay. I'll do it on I got these media team ones. We'll do that. So I'll say new overlay. I'm gonna call this one camera. And I can go into here for camera, and then I'll pick the camera I want. And I'll do this one. And I want to make it fill the screen. And boom, pow. All right, so I got that as my overlay. Now, I can right click on this, and I'm gonna say place under slide, and I'm gonna say lock it to the output. All right. So now I'm gonna clear all. I've not activated it. Okay. Clear all, and then I'm gonna select, let's do this, and then I'll select that. All right. So now I can hit clear all, and boom, the overlay is still there and it is locked. I love that. So I can bring up my slides, and those slides are there. I can arrow to the right and go through slides, go back, go back. I only have a few slides on this particular deal. And then I can do clear all, and it automatically comes back with just the image of the background of that overlay. That is super, super sweet. That's a great idea, Christopher. Thank you for sharing that one. Grilling MJ says, NDI inputs are very choppy and sometimes unusable. Is there a way to fix that? The best way to fix it is to make sure that your NDI connection is going to be wired to the network. If you try to do it through a phone or something like that, it is going to be choppy from my experience as well. But if you have it coming from a device that's connected hardwired to your network, you shouldn't have to worry about that. And this is crazy. I'm doing a full screen share. This is hilarious. So I don't know if my lips are in sync or not. I love it. Was it? Wait. Was that when I did that? Oh yeah, it's showing 2 Garys on there. That's hilarious. I didn't even pay attention to that. All right, but so yeah, for NDI cameras using the app or something like that, you're going to see some choppiness. I'm trying to think about other options for that. Yeah, it would be the best option I would say is to have it hardwired. So if you have NDI cameras like PTZ cameras or something like that, if they're hardwired to the network and your computer's hardwired to the network, it shouldn't be choppy. It shouldn't be choppy. Okay. But yeah, let me know. Grilling MJ 8530. Let me know before we go here. I'm gonna be heading off in the next couple of minutes. Are you using wired, to the network devices, or are they wireless? Are they doing NDI over Wi-Fi? Would be the question. Okay. Oh man, I love that solution that Christopher gave us about making your camera feed be an overlay, And then, like I said, I got it still set up here. I'm locked in on it like it's my best friend. But I love that. So that's a really cool solution, you guys. Christopher, I think you just gave me the solution for an idea for my next video. Just a quick tip for you guys to understand, because that's something that is a game changer. And I don't know how long it's been around to do it, but I love it. I love that idea to where you can do that. And like I said, we just made sure to right click on that overlay, and I made it to where I place it under the slide. If I turn it off, I think it won't do the same thing, because it's, yeah, so to cover up everything, because it's an overlay, so it goes over the top. So you want to make sure, if you want it to be the background, place it under the slide and then activate it, and now you got it to where your actual text is right there. I love that. Oh man, I'm excited about that. Brian had a comment, it's gone now, so I can't see it, but any other questions you guys might have? Any other questions? I got video cameras of me everywhere. This is crazy weird. Let's see here. Let's go here. All right. All right, you guys. Well, it has been a fun Free Show Friday. I know we're cutting it a little bit short, but I want to make sure I honor my time and take care of some other meetings I got going on. But I got to make some runs and do some other fun stuff. Until we talk next time, have a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and be blessed. Continue to use Free Show. Tell people about it. Share this video with others. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. All right. God bless. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe, and I think that's great, but my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you. Someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow